Good thing recruiting doesn't always correlate with wins and losses on the field, because even though the Ducks lost to Washington and it might feel like things are down, if you look at recruiting, you would have no idea. It's red hot right now in Oregon. So in this video, we're going to talk about the big 5-star offensive tackle on campus this weekend and the potential of adding another elite pass rusher as well. But first, Oregon fans, hit that subscribe button for me. We're trying to grow this page. We need Duck fans to be a part of it. Hit subscribe. Okay, Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck. Let's get right into it. 5-star Jordan Seaton, the number 2 rated offensive tackle in the country. He's making his much anticipated official visit to Oregon, who he deemed as his dream school growing up. Now we both know what that could mean. But what is the goal here with hosting Seaton on this official visit?
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the good news, right? Oregon's only got a handful of uncommitted guys visiting this weekend, which means, Jordan Seaton's a priority no matter what, but you can devote a lot of attention to him, right? Dan Lanning can spend quality time with him, recruiting him. I know the Ducks are bringing some of their other offensive linemen that are committed already, and, they'll try to build that bond with them. This is your chance to show, a lot of folks do recognize that Autzen Stadium is a really great atmosphere, a great place to see a football game. I think that's what you're going to show if you're Oregon. You want Jordan Seaton to see what, hey, there is a legitimate football atmosphere on the West Coast. You're going to really show him those relationships that you've tried to build through the phone and, and video calls and other things. You're going to really put those face to face. It's just all those things. I would imagine Seaton will be bringing family with him, mom, dad, coach, whoever. The important people will make the trip with him. And the key there is you want to make them feel comfortable, right? They want you want mom or whoever. Hey, look, he's going to be 3,000 miles from home, but look, he's safe. It's comfortable. We'll take care of him. He'll grow, he'll mature here. So those are some of the things that Oregon needs to do, because you've got to attack those things head on. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of fall behind in the pack, and Seaton's going to stay somewhere in the southeast down there.
Yeah, and a lot of competition for him now. He's originally from Baltimore area, Washington, D.C., but he's playing his football in high school down at IMG Academy in Florida, and there are a lot of teams in the southeast involved with him. Of course, the Florida Gators, Alabama. You got Ohio State's going to probably get him in on a visit as well. Florida State involved there. So Jordan Seaton getting to Oregon this weekend. I think I exchanged a few texts with him yesterday, and I think this is a big opportunity for the Ducks. He's looking forward to just what you said, Justin, that hype around the game and being there in that game day atmosphere. He's heard a lot about it. He told me he can't wait to experience it. So we'll see what he has to say coming out of this one, but I think it's a big opportunity. Now, Solomon Williams will also be on campus. He's the other official visitor this weekend, and he's been trending toward Texas A&M the past 2 to 3 weeks, but that comes as Texas A&M season starts to spiral. So another great timed visit for Oregon. What are your sources saying on Solomon Williams out of Tampa, Florida? Inside Scoop fans, I got to tell you about something that has changed my fall football season for the better, and that's HelloFresh. I've been trying HelloFresh recently, even as recently as last night, and I have no idea why I waited so long. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And let's face it, we're busy during the fall. You guys know the routine. You work all week and then you watch football all weekend. A busy fall schedule doesn't always leave you time to go to the grocery store. And with HelloFresh, you don't need to spend all evening in the kitchen to whip up a wholesome meal. With their quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals, you can get a tasty dinner on the table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. It's also cheaper. A new season calls for new meals, and HelloFresh has a fresh fall lineup of delicious dinners and more to choose from. Take your pick from 40 weekly recipes that suit your lifestyle, from veggie to family-friendly to fit and wholesome. This week, I was in the kitchen chefing it up like I do, and when I get home from work, the last thing I want to do is really go to the grocery store. All the ingredients, they were right there at my doorstep. I didn't have to buy. I didn't have to wait in line. I didn't have to throw out all the extras that you always have. And anything I cook is delicious. But I got to tell you, HelloFresh makes it so easy and so fast. I don't know if I'll be going back to the grocery store anytime soon. So here's what I need you guys to do. Go to HelloFresh.com/50 Josh Newberg. and use code 50JoshNewberg for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, I have no idea why I waited so long.
Well, there's no time to capitalize when one of your opponents is down, right? And I think, I think that's what Oregon's doing here. A little different with Solomon than with Jordan Seaton, because Solomon has been to Oregon before. So he at least kind of knows what to expect. He has not been there for a game experience. So that's what you're selling here if you're Oregon. You want Solomon Williams to see what we just talked about, Autzen Stadium, the fan support, all of that being there. This will be a different visit for him, but he's at least met the coaches in person, seen all the facilities, done a photo shoot, all that kind of stuff. And again, like Jordan Seaton, these are currently the only two uncommitted 2024 guys that we know of. That could change as recruiting goes. It could change in an hour after this is, aired. But that gives the staff a lot of time to spend with Jordan Seaton, a lot of time to spend with Solomon Williams. And again, potentially, you're looking at two guys that you say, hey, look, you want to become a really good player, Solomon or Jordan? Guess what? That guy's a really good player on the other side of the ball. If you both come, you can practice with each other all year long. So, I think there's a little bit of selling there for Oregon when you bring those two guys in and you kind of say, hey, look, you want to get better, you got to practice against the best. And what a way to sell Jordan Seaton and Solomon Williams on that.
Yeah, and it's a great weekend for them both to come in because there's going to be so many committed prospects on campus. You get that peer-to-peer recruiting going on as well. So we're about 48 hours away from recruits arriving on campus. So is there anyone else on your radar that you're tracking that could be in this weekend?
Yeah, there's going to be a list of 2025s that come in. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Pacific Northwest recruits that make their way down. We talked about some committed guys coming in. Devin Brooks, Fox Crater, a couple of the Oregon commits will be in town, and it's great to have them. I would kind of keep tabs to see if maybe a running back like Jason Brown makes it down this weekend. He's been trending Oregon's direction a little bit. I know he watched Oregon and Washington last week in Seattle. Elijah Rushing, I know we've talked about him. Yeah. Does he make a surprise appearance? It's certainly possible. There's a lot of steam around Oregon with him right now. So, those are maybe a couple of the guys that I would instantly point to. But, otherwise, I think it'll be a kind of a quaint but solid weekend for the Ducks. And it is homecoming, so there'll be a lot of pageantry around this weekend's game as well.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit more about Elijah Rushing. He decommitted from Arizona about 2 weeks ago now. I had him on the show earlier this week. I'll drop that in the description. You guys can check that out. But it was tough to get a whole lot out of him, but he did have something to say about Oregon. Can the Ducks close on him before another team jumps in this and becomes a real contender?
I think if you're Dan Lanning, that's the hope and the goal, right? Hey, you know what? We may have got him to decommit or he decommitted, whatever. Let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's get him in the boat before he goes and takes a visit to Tennessee and thinks about it, or Notre Dame or whatever.
Right, yeah, Notre Dame could be a threat.
Over and holds off. Yeah, strike while the iron's hot. So I think Oregon would love to do that. I could see them, potentially getting him on campus sooner than later, which is why I mentioned him as a possibility this weekend. But of course, nothing is confirmed. If you're Oregon, you've got some momentum, and I know that you know about it, but in recruiting, momentum is everything. You've landed a pair of really strong defensive commits, 5-star Aiden Breland. Guys see that. They know. They recognize when a team is recruiting hot and usually want to be a part of a contender. So I think for Oregon, this is your time to really capitalize with Elijah Rushing and, like you said, kind of shut the door on everybody else.
Yeah, because it feels like at this point, he's been back on the market for a week or two, but there's really not another team buzzing besides Oregon. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we'll see what happens. Big weekend up there in Eugene. Justin Hopkins, keep us updated on all the latest developments, and thank you for stopping by the Inside Scoop.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.